Manashtosi.
Pratyevayo na vidyate.
Pratyavayo na vidyate.
Svalpamapyasya dharmasya.
Swalpamapyasya dharmasya.
Rayate mahato bhayat.
Trayate
Trayate
mahato
mahato
bhayat.
bhaya.
Nehabhikramanashosti.
Neha
Nehabhikamanashosti.
vikamanashosti.
Pratyevayo na vidyate.
Pratyavayo na
Pratyavayo na
vidyate.
vidyate.
Svalpamapyasya dharmasya.
Swalpamapyasya
Swalpapyasya
dharmasya.
dharmasya.
Trayate mahato bhayat.
Trayate mahato
Maho
bhayat.
bhaya.
Rishi Prabhu
In,
translate.
in this endeavor, there is no loss or diminution, and a little advancement on this path can protect one from the most dangerous type of fear. I'll read the purport also. Activity in Krishna consciousness, or acting for the benefit of Krishna without expectation of sense gratification, is the highest transcendental quality of work. Even a small beginning of such activity finds no impediment, nor can that small beginning be lost at any stage. Any work begun on the material plane has to be completed, otherwise the whole attempt becomes a failure. But any work begun in Krishna consciousness has a permanent effect, even though not finished. The performer of such work is therefore not at a loss even if his work in Krishna consciousness is incomplete. 1% done in Krishna consciousness bears permanent results, so that the next beginning is from the point of 2%, whereas in material activity, without 100% success, there is no profit. Ajamal performed his duty in some percentage of Krishna consciousness, but the result he enjoyed at the end was 100% by the grace of Lord. Then there is a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam. I don't know how to pronounce this, but I will read about that. If someone gives up his occupational duties and works in Krishna consciousness, and then falls down on account of not completing his work, what loss is there on his part? And what can one gain if one performs his material activities perfectly? Or as Christians say, what profiteth a man if he gain the whole world, yes, yet suffer the loss of his eternal soul? Material activities and their results end with the body, but work in Krishna consciousness carries a person again to Krishna consciousness even after the loss of the body. At least one is sure to have a chance in the next life of being born again as a human being, either in the family of a great cultured Brahman or in a rich aristocratic family that will give one a further chance for elevation. That is the unique quality of work done in Krishna consciousness.
Prabhu, would you like to summarize as well? What is your thoughts on it?
Um,
You can read Prabhu again and whatever you want.
I think the thing that is being said again and again in this purport is that if you start any work in Krishna consciousness, that will sustain through your life and through further births as well. And if you can do it 100%, then you can come out of that cycle. But that is the uniqueness of work done in Krishna consciousness. That's what my takeaway was.
Tambra Mataji, you would like to add anything?
I think this is the only path where we can continue our action, same action in the next birth. But otherwise, no other work is useful, as useful as this is. Like, nothing else we can be taken to the next birth. But this is the only thing we can take it there. So this is the most important. Otherwise, yeah.
Vishaka Mataji, would you like to add?
Yeah, I think
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Sorry, did I disturb any discussion? Please carry on.
yeah,
Prabhu, we just read 2.40.
Okay.
yeah,
I just did the shloka recitation. Rishi
Wonderful.
Prabhu read the translation and purport. And then
Wonderful.
Ritamra Mataji and Vishaka Mataji and Rishi Prabhu were sharing the summary.
Wonderful. That's our book club. Wonderful. Thank you.
Yes.
That's how the book clubs will function. Wonderful. So 2.40 all clear?
Yeah.
2.40 Prabhu we were doing.
Yeah.
Neha bhi kamanashosti.
Very good. Very good. So now, today we will start with 2.41.
No, Prabhuji, we should discuss 40 also a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Just
Sorry
underline.
Prabhuji. I think Vishaka Mataji was just
Yeah.
adding something. So
Yeah.
I'll just add
thank
my
you, Prabhu.
takeaway of the shloka, which is that spiritual effort or activities can never be lost, and whatever percentage you do, you make some progress, and then you start from that point, so it's never lost. And that is why you should not worry that you are not giving your 100%, because even 1% or 2% gives you that progress which can be carried forward.
Thank you, Mataji. Anil Prabhuji, over to you.
Okay. So 2.40, before reading, I'll just do Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo
Namo
Bhagavate
Bhagavate
Vasudevaya.
Om Namo
Vasudevaya.
Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om
Om
Namo
Namo
Om
Bhagavate
Namo
Bhagavate
Bhagavate
Vasudevaya.
Vasudevaya.
Om Namo
Vasudevaya.
Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om
Om
Namo
Namo
Om
Bhagavate
Namo
Bhagavate
Bhagavate
Vasudevaya.
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 So the 2.40 verse, which actually speaks about there is no loss if you take small steps, will be explained further in Bhagavad Gita as to how Krishna will speak about how he retains what you have and gives you what you lack. So that will come in forthcoming chapters. Now, this is in terms of spiritual advancement. So if we take up 2.41 to understand, that will actually hit the nail at the right spot. So once we discuss 2.41, you will understand where is this going. So far, Krishna has explained to Arjun about Karma Kanda, which is Sakama Karma Yoga, which was from 2.31 to 37, 38. Before that, he has explained him about the real identity, the real constitutional position of a living being, which is the soul. And he has analyzed that part which was Sankhya. Sankhya means analysis. What is analysis?
Breaking it down.
Breaking it down. Perfect. So what has been broken down in analysis?
The body and soul, Prabhu, the spiritual elements and the material elements.
Perfect. So the analysis has been done of body and soul. So that is the main analysis. So once that is understood, that body is different, it is not us, it is something which is temporary. We are spirit souls. Understood that? That is Sankhya Yoga. So that is analysis. Next is that what we should do. Next is that where Krishna explains Arjun that you should do your duty. As a Kshatriya, you should perform your duty as a Kshatriya. If you want to enjoy, because he had an aspect of enjoyment. So enjoyment with respect to prescribed duties is called Karma Kanda or Sakama Karma Yoga. Now prescribed duties, a student has a prescribed duty to study. As a worker, employee, we have a prescribed duty to go to the job and work. As a businessman, prescribed duty is you do and maintain your business, etc., etc. So these are the prescribed duties. And then there are capricious work, which Krishna will speak about later. Capricious work is getting fruitive. So Karmakanda, which we spoke about, doing your duty, is a prescribed duty for enjoyment, to enjoy the fruits of action. That is by prescribed duties, by doing it as per dharma. And then there are capricious work, which is done to enjoy by doing some illegitimate work, which is not prescribed in the Shastras. Okay, so that is another kind of verse. So that is not what Krishna is describing at the moment, but he will come up to that. Now, Sakama Karma Yoga, finished that. Now he tells the next thing is slowly moving into intelligence part. So how do you actually use your intelligence further in order to achieve something called as Buddhi Yoga? So what is yoga? What is yoga?
Prabhu, connecting with Lord.
Connecting with Lord. Okay,
Yoga means to connect.
very nice.
Buddhi
Union.
Yoga to connect with your intelligence.
Connect with your intelligence.
Buddhi Yoga.
Buddhi Yoga to connect with your intelligence. Very nice. Yeah, good thought. Yeah, very good thought. What? Anyone else?
Someone just prompted to me, it's bhakti.
Very nice. Who said that?
Bolo?
Who said that?
Mataji and Prabhuji is saying, no, don't tell anyone that I'm a copycat.
Haribol. Very nice. Yes. Buddhi Yoga itself is bhakti. Yes. When you do your spiritual practice using your intelligence, that is bhakti. So, Buddhi Yoga is equal to Bhakti Yoga. Yes. But what is yoga? Again, coming back to that. What is yoga?
Connecting. Prabhu, is it like controlling senses and diverting them towards Lord? Like something like that. I don't know if.
You're actually touching the right points, Mataji. Yes.
Okay.
In union with
So when
the Lord.
a living entity uses or exploits nature or prakriti to enjoy his own self, his own bodily enjoyments, that is called bhoga. Okay, and when he does the same exercise but for the pleasure of the Supreme, is called yoga. Does it make sense? Now, how would you say, how do you do something for the pleasure of the Lord? That question coming to your mind?
Yes.
Yes. So when you do an act, yeah, what we want is some result out of it, right? Correct? Any activity that you do, we want some result out of it.
Yes.
Now, what do you do with that result determines whether you are doing bhoga or yoga. Now, you will say that I go to work every month, I get the salary. Of course, I will use the salary for my needs. Yes, you do. You do. Use that money for your own needs. But what do you do with the money which is remaining after your needs are fulfilled? Also, what is the intention or the purpose ultimately for doing all this, Gadamajuri, all this work which we do? Is it that you earn more and more money to enjoy yourself more and more? Or there is some higher aspect to it? That is the question you must ask yourself. Now, that is what Krishna is going to explain in further verses. So far, he has explained Sakama Karma Yoga and slowly getting into Nishkama Karma Yoga, which further progresses into Bhakti. So when we discuss about the last verse in 2.38, what did he say? Sukha Dukkha Samay Kritva Labha Alabha Jaya Jayo. So Yuddhaya Yujjasva Nevam papam avapsyasi. So that is Nishkama Karma Yoga in terms of that if you do not have any Sukha Dukkha as a result of any activity, that's not in your mind. Labha Alabha is not in your mind. Jaya Ajay is not in your mind. And last one. So if you continue working without these expectations, you will not have sinful reactions. That's all. But that is not bhakti. What is the difference between, so this is Nishkama Karma Yoga, that when you do not have these kind of expectations from the result of the work, and you continue working, that is called Nishkama Karma Yoga. You will not get sinful reactions. Because we discussed last time, every work that we do has some or the other reaction associated to it. So if you do not want any sinful reactions, then you do not have that expectation out from that work. All right? But is it bhakti?
No, Prabhu.
So what is bhakti? One step ahead. Now, one step ahead is what? That when you do everything of all this, now you add one more aspect to it, which is the pleasure of the Supreme. That makes it bhakti. Is this clear so far?
Prabhu, does it mean that we offer the fruits of our labor to Supreme?
Does it mean that? Ask everyone. Let's ask everyone. Does it mean this? That we offer the fruits of what we get? Kalpesh will answer this.
Sorry, Prabhu ji, मेरे यहाँ पे mixer चल रहा था. If I'm right, if I heard it right, the question is regarding.
No, there is no question. Mataji said that we should use all our fruits which we earn. We should give it. What can you say that again, Mataji?
Does it mean, Prabhu, that all the fruits of our labor, we offer it to Supreme?
Yeah, Kalpesh. Is that what we discussed?
I don't understand what that really means, but yeah, I mean, some offering has to be happen. I mean, the intention has to be Lord. That's what my answer would be. I can't quantify that. You know, $100 कमाए तो
नहीं, माताजी saying all fruits. वो quantify तो पूरा कर रही है ना माताजी. Correct, माताजी?
So
Yes,
when you say all fruit,
All.
like, you know, if you are earning say $100, do you give $100 into the petty dan? I would say definitely no. I would say that the intention should be petty dan. How much? It's up to you.
Anyone else?
So all the activities, whatever we do, and that is for the pleasure of God. So that is called Bhakti Yoga.
Okay.
So in this, I mean, we are not expecting any fruit. So the fruit, whatever will come, that anyway it's God's, like, you know. So I mean, I don't know how will we I mean, offer that to God. That is already is God's. I mean, we have nothing have actually to offer to the God. Only, you know, our
Rishi, do you want to answer?
our tears
Mataji?
only can
Add
offer
something?
to the God, I think.
I would like to use the example like when we offer bhog to Krishna and then we take the prasad. The food that we are eating is we are only eating. He's not eating the food, right? But he is probably we are offering our intention. So when we do that, that is the bhakti part of it, isn't it?
Very nicely said. Very nicely said. So what Krishna eats, what Krishna sees, is your mood, is your intention. He does not see. He correctly said. He does not physically put
Prabhuji,
his
I
hand
said
out
same
and
thing,
eat the bhog.
Prabhuji.
Huh?
I said same thing.
What did you say?
I said exactly same thing.
Petty
You know,
dan.
you can't quantify. It's just sort of intention has to be Krishna in whatever you do.
Yeah, but they're saying that 100% you have to give it back to Krishna. That was the
I said
question.
you can't quantify that.
Okay. So if you
I said
can't
your
quantify
intention
that,
has to be Krishna.
yeah. But 100, can we give 100%?
No, we can't.
Yes.
We have to
Yeah.
pay bills.
Correct.
Yeah.
So what is that? What is that we should give it to Krishna? That's another part of it. So that was another question. Yeah, that was another question from you. You were actually debating with Aradhya Mataji.
No,
Rishi
no,
is
no.
debating with Rina Mataji. So I was trying to, see who's able to join those kind of things. Yeah. So Aradhya Mataji was saying 100% we should give. You said we cannot quantify. Rina Mataji is saying that anyway it is for Krishna. So how can we give back? So Rishi said that if it is even for Krishna, what he sees is the intention, which is correct. Now we come back to the point saying that how much do we offer?
So
Whatever we can.
I'm adding one more thing. I mean, what I believe that only the tears, what we can, for Krishna, that only, I mean, is important for Krishna, like our emotions and our intentions.
Okay. Yeah. That's already discussed. Yeah. So how much do we offer to Krishna is what we are talking about. Now quantifying, correct?
As much as we can.
Very nice. That's one thing. So
100% we can offer to
there is
Krishna.
no calculation given in Bhagavad Gita,
Yeah.
unfortunately, but we can take only the examples from the Acharyas. So one of the 6 Goswamis, we will discuss about them later. So what he did, so he was very wealthy. Okay, he's a lot of gold with him. So 1/4 he kept for himself. 1/4 he gave it to his relative. And there was other aspect to it, where he gave. And remaining 1/4 or 3/4, half of the thing, he actually donated for the service of Krishna. So that is how he quantified. We can read about him at some point. This is just an example to understand. Okay. But going into that formula and details is again up to you. But what is important is 2.41 will tell us what is important. That's the main aspect. Okay, so we'll read 2.41. I'll share my screen with you. I can't share my screen. Anyway, so can you open 2.41?
Yes.
Yes, Prabhu. Open.
Yeah, please repeat after me. Vyavasayatmika buddhi.
Vyavasayatmika
Vyavasayatmika
Buddhir.
buddhir
Ekeha kurunandana.
Ekehe
Kurunandana
Baushakhayanantasya.
Bahushakhayanantascha.
Bahushakhayanantasya
Buddhayo avyavasayinam.
Buddhayo
Buddhayo
avyavasayinam.
Vyavasayinam
Vyavasayatmika buddhir.
Vyavasayatmika
Vyavasayatmika
buddhir.
buddhir
Ekeha kurunandana.
Ekehe
Ekehe
kurunandana.
Kurunandana
Baushakhayanantasya.
Bahushakhayanantascha.
Bahushakhayanantasya
Buddhayo avyavasayinam.
Buddhayo
Buddhayo
avyavasayinam.
Vyavasayinam.
Someone else would like to read this verse in Sanskrit? Anyone want to try?
Vyavasayatmika buddhir.
Vyavasayatmika buddhir.
Ekehe kurunandana.
Ekeha kurunandana.
Kurunandana
Bahushakhahi anantascha.
Bahushakhahi
Anantascha.
anantascha
Buddhyo avyayavai sayinam.
Buddhayo
Buddhayo
avyavasayinam.
Vyavasayanam.
Hare Krishna.
Someone like to read the translation?
I can read the translation. Those who are on this path are resolute in purpose, and their aim is one. O beloved child of the Gurus, the intelligence of those who are irresolute is many-branched.
So, Vyavasaya. Vyavasaya means business in vernacular understanding. And Vyavasaya means being fixed in Sanskrit. So in both ways, if you see, Vyavasaya, and then buddhir. Buddhir means intelligence. So that's the same meaning in vernacular as well as in Sanskrit. So Vyavasaya Buddhi, business-like intelligence or fixed intelligence. In what? Atmika. What is Atmika? Your spiritual activity. Now, what does that mean? What do we do when we go to work? We plan the whole day, right? We're going to do this. Or if we are doing any business, we plan it, right? This is how much I'm going to invest. These are the returns. This is where I'm going to do this. We do a lot of research. Correct me if I'm wrong, yes? Research and planning, correct?
Yes, Prabhu.
Before action, correct? But what is Krishna saying here? That you do that same kind of analysis, research, and planning for your spiritual activity. Okay, that's one understanding. Second understanding is that you be fixed. You be fixed in your spiritual activity with your buddhi, using your intelligence. Now, so far we have been discussing about intention, purpose, and all that, correct? Now, this verse just tells clearly that you should be fixed. Krishna says very clearly that you should be fixed in your spiritual activity using your intelligence.
प्रभु जी उसका मतलब क्या हुआ फिक्स्ड मतलब
Fixed matlab you are wanting to do only that, but you are doing other things to facilitate your ultimate goal. Does it make sense?
50-50. So basically, are we saying that, okay, you are fixed, stated in a way that you want to do bhakti, but you're also doing some other things along with it. That
The
other thing is
example
also
given,
channeling it towards bhakti.
the example given, if you read the introduction of Bhagavad Gita, example is given of a paramour. You know who's a paramour?
हाँ आपने एक दो बार समझाया था.
Anyone knows the meaning of a paramour?
Secret lover.
Very nice. Wonderful. Extramarital affair होता है ना जिसका,
हाँ
उसको paramour बोलते हैं.
okay.
So ये बहुत crude example दिया है to make us understand, because कलयुग में ना हम लोग, हमारी बुद्धि वैसे चलती है, तो इसीलिए हमको समझाने के लिए एग्जाम्पल है कि जैसे एक्स्ट्रा मैरिटल अफेयर में कोई आदमी या औरत अपने एक्स्ट्रा मैरिटल अफेयर को इंटैक्ट रखने के लिए हम अपनी मैरिज बड़ी संभाल के चलते हैं. They make sure that their partner doesn't know about their lover, so that their marriage is maintained and their affair is also maintained. So why am I giving this example here? That we have to maintain our relationship with Krishna. And for maintaining that relationship strongly, we have to make sure that we do not make any mistake in our day-to-day affairs, which is our marriage already done, right? With the material things, yes? With our work, with the family, relatives, socializing, ये सब करना है ना? तो वहां पे क्या करना है? वहां पे वो आदमी क्या करता है मैरिज में, या औरत क्या करती है जिसका अफेयर होता है बाहर, वो वहां पे एक्टिंग करता है. ही प्लेज अ रोल ऑफ अ हस्बैंड और अ वाइफ. लेकिन अल्टीमेटली व्हाट ही वॉन्ट्स हिज और हर लवर. ये निभाता है वो, लेकिन अल्टीमेटली उसको क्या चाहिए? ही वॉन्ट्स दैट. सो दैट इज कॉल्ड बीइंग फिक्स्ड. वो घूम फिर के उधर जाए, ये सब काम करके नहीं, ये सब करूंगा, मैं करूंगा, ठीक है, मेहनत करूंगा बहुत सारी, लेकिन अल्टीमेटली मेरे को उधर जाए. दैट इज कॉल्ड बीइंग फिक्स्ड in your spiritual activity. Does it make sense?
Yes.
सुन रहे हैं? व्यवसाय आत्मिका बुद्धि एकेह कुरुनंदन.
But
स्पेस यही करने का.
so Prabhuji, what you're saying is like, we are just doing duty at home, but the actual lover is Krishna.
No,
But
I'm not
then,
saying that.
but then is it,
Krishna is saying that.
huh?
I'm not saying that. Krishna is saying that.
But isn't that's injustice to your own family?
I don't know. Krishna is saying that. मैं क्या बोलूं उससे? अगर वो बोल रहा है कुछ सोच के ही बोल रहा होगा ना.
हाँ, तो क्या रीजन हो सकता है ऐसे कुछ थोड़ा
इनजस्टिस कैसे
एक्सपैंड
हुआ
करो.
फैमिली के साथ? यू एक्सप्लेन मी.
Sorry?
इनजस्टिस कैसे हो गया ये मेरे को समझाओ.
Because see, like then it becomes a very mechanical relationship, right? Because you're just going to work 9 to 5, bringing money home. बोला अच्छा तुझे क्या चाहिए, दाल चावल खाने, ये ले दे 50 रुपए. अच्छा तुझे फीस भरनी, ये ले चलो, ये ले 200 रुपए. There is nothing involvement there. There is no commitment there.
No, of course.
It's only material commitment.
A married man who has an extramarital affair, वो घर पे भी वैसा ही उसको दिखाता है कि मैं तेरे से प्यार करता हूँ. वो ऐसा injustice नहीं करता. किसने बोला injustice करता है?
He's not. He's
Don't you
there,
watch TV? Don't you watch
but
movies?
it's a two-faced relationship, na?
Of course it is. That is correct. We are marginal energy. We are in the middle. We are anyway two-faced.
Wisdom कहाँ पे आ गया यहाँ पे फिर?
क्या कहाँ पे आ गया?
Wisdom कहाँ पे आ गया फिर यहाँ पे?
कौन सा wisdom?
In your married life.
Where is? I didn't understand. What is wisdom? Where is wisdom coming from?
मतलब बेसिकली अभी मैं कैसे समझाऊं ना, मेरी
हाँ
बैड
पहले एक बार समझ लो इसको क्या बोल रहा है कृष्ण.
हाँ
उसके बाद तुम इसको एनालाइज कर पाओगे.
ठीक है.
Yeah. The first thing to understand here is that we have to introduce a plan to serve Krishna. For example, I'll take your example, Kalpit. Now you have taken a responsibility that you will organize every month mantra at your place. Now that requires a lot of thing, even though you may not be actively cooking or doing something, but organizing a place, like, before that you clean everything, make sure that everything is nice and intact. Then you organize all the plates for the devotees. Yeah, that it is not a one-day job. You must be planning it way before. You tell me, yes, this is the day you can, come in. Before that, you organize things for me as well. Then you contact all the people, coordinate with everyone, organize all the paraphernalia in the house, organize the deities, make sure the deities are clean and nice. That requires a lot of effort, right? Isn't it?
वो तो पूरा मैंने ऑटोमेशन में डाल दिया प्रभु जी, ऑटोमेटिक होता है अभी वो.
I understand. But you physically you do something, right?
हाँ.
Yeah. You organize everyone, you coordinate with everyone. Although you may not be standing in the kitchen and cooking, but you are doing more than that. You are doing organizing your whole place so that it is ready for everything. Organizing the kitchen so it is ready to get, and then clean up after that. That requires a lot of effort. Correct me if I'm wrong, everyone. Yes or no?
Yes, Prabhu. A lot of
Correct.
work is,
I
and
remember-
basically commitment. Every
Yeah.
month doing this, it's not easy.
Yeah. I remember when I was back in Perth, where we used to host Bhakti Vriksha. Although me and Mansi, we started cooking as well, but slowly the other devotees said, no, please don't cook, because this is a lot of effort. Just to organize the thing, it's a big, massive task. So that is introducing and planning your Krishna conscious activity. Yeah, you have a schedule. Similarly, over a period of time, you will have a daily schedule. You will have a weekly schedule that I'm doing this. Weekly, I'm reading this. Like, for example, we are catching up every week for Bhagavad Gita. That is a schedule. We are planning for it. Yeah. So many back and forth messages. That is exactly what Krishna is talking about. Chanting. Everyone is 16, 16. So you guys are very, what you call, what do they call it? Very, how do they put it? What's the word, best word to use? Finical, about being 16, 16, 16, 16. 16 rounds, 16 rounds. Who's at 16? No, why we have to be on a fixed number of round of 16? Did Arjun was chanting 16 rounds every day while fighting Kurukshetra war? Did he say, Krishna, wait for some time, my 4 rounds are remaining. Let me finish it and then I'll fight? He didn't say that, right? So why 16? But Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Satatam Kirtayanto Mam. Always chant my name. Can we do that? 24/7 when we are not fighting? That's why Srila Prabhupada has given us 16 rounds. So easily you can do in 1.5, 2 hours, you can do your daily activity. Actually, it was 64, but he got it down to 16. He gave us that mercy. So we have to introduce. So if you can't do 16, that's okay. Start with 1. Start with 2. Increase it to 4. Make it double over a period of time if you feel comfortable with it. That's how you start. Yes.
Prabhuji, I have a question.
Yeah.
Before I used to wake up early morning and chant and all, right? Every day, like मेरा fixed schedule था, but because of my work commitments, it is not possible. So sometimes I chant in the afternoon, sometimes I chant in the evening as well.
Yeah.
Sometimes I chant 1, sometimes I chant 3. So there is no fixed thing.
Mm.
Because I have other duties to do, which takes priority, over chanting, or sometimes I actually don't do diya, early in the morning. Sometimes I do it in the afternoon. Sometimes I only do in the evening. Sometimes I'm so busy I don't even get to do a diya. So I miss one day as well.
Sure. So there is no hard and fast rule for grahasthas per se, as such. But for brahmacharis who are living in the temple and all that, they have to follow a proper routine. But for people like us who have, these kids and wife and house and everything, job to maintain and all those things, there are a lot of liberties given. So we, like back in Perth, when we used to host brahmacharis in our house, so we used to miss morning bhoga. I used to miss, giving sometimes, this. So I used to ask those Prabhus who used to live in our house. I used to say, Prabhu, we missed out on this. He said, don't worry. Whatever you are able to, whatever you are, able to actually do, you try doing that. And next thing, you just pray to Krishna that Krishna, I really want to serve you in a proper way, in a really planned way. But due to circumstances, I'm not able to. He will make the way for you. Yeah. So what he sees is that your intention is there. So you're thinking that you have this thing in your heart that I'm not able to because of this. That emotion, that feeling is what he wants to see. And that exactly is your intention. That exactly is your bhava. And Krishna sees that. He doesn't see actually what you are doing, but he sees what is there inside you. Because he's sitting inside us. He's a Paramatma, sitting right next to us. Does it make sense?
Okay, yes. Thank you. It's intention and motivation in the end. Yeah.
So being fixed in this. Now what he says further, says that Bahushapayanam tascha buddhayo vyavasayinam. So The people who do not have this kind of fixed purpose, fixed goal, but they're not resolute in their purpose of life, their intelligence is many branched. They want to do a lot of things. वो उसको ये भी करने का है, उसको वो भी करने का है, पेंटिंग भी करने का है, उसको आर्टिस्ट भी बनना है, उसको स्पिरिचुअलिटी भी करनी है, ये भी करना है, वो भी करना है. Some people are multiple. मेरे को हठ योगा भी करने का है, मेरे को बुद्धि योगा भी करना है, मेरे को भक्ति भी करनी है. I want to do. I'm not fixed. I'm not centered into one. There was once, I was listening to Gaurang Prabhu. He was saying, one person was telling him that you guys are very, what do you call, limited scope you work with. Only this. You should spread out. You should read Buddhism also. You should read this also. You should, practice this also. You should that also. The reading is fine for knowledge, but you have to be fixed in one spiritual practice. Only then you can progress. And that's what Krishna has explained is Buddhi Yoga. He will explain further. Okay. So what is that? That is we should be performing. Now this is spiritual practice he's talking about. Which spiritual practice is that we have to perform? So what is the goal ultimately? What is the goal for our human life?
Yogdham.
To serve Lord Krishna.
Yeah, correct. That is correct. But what is the, ultimately, we have discussed this, right? So we are conditioned soul and we have to go towards becoming a liberated soul.
Yes.
Towards liberation in simple terms. So the idea is, what is liberation? So we have to understand the mukti, liberation, moksha. In such a baat karte hain, what is that? So that we have to find out. So we refer to the Srimad Bhagavatam here. I will. Kalvish, is there a way I can share my screen? Or do we have
I have fixed it, so you should be able to share screen now.
Okay. Okay, I'll share my screen now.
Sorry, I forgot to mention that earlier.
That's all right. Okay, so I'll share my screen now. Understand what is mukti or liberation.
Prabhu, free from bondage of
Let's see
material
what
world, from
Srimad
bondage of
Bhagavatam
karma.
says. Okay, so please repeat after me. Nirodho Shayanam
Nirodhoshanushyanam
Atmanah Sa Shaktibhi
Manasah Shaktibhi
Muktir Hitva Nyatha Rupam
Muktirhitya
Rupam
Svarupena Vyavasthitah.
Svarupena Vyavasthita.
Vyavasthita.
The merging of the living entity along with his conditional tendency with the mystic lying down of the Mahavishnu is called the winding up of the cosmic manifestation. Don't worry about this. This is a little deeper. We will understand the second part. Liberation is the permanent situation of the form of the living entity after he gives up the changeable gross and subtle material body. This is the main definition of liberation. And this is Muktir Hitva Natha Rupam Swarupena Vyavasthitah. Muktir Hitva Natha Rupam Swarupena Vyavasthitah. So this is the definition of Mukti. Yeah? Liberation is the permanent situation of the form of the living entity after he gives up changeable gross and subtle material body. Now this goes back to where? The three circles which he had made, if you remember. Yes? So there you will be able to understand the physical or gross body, and you will be able to understand the subtle body.
Subtle body.
And the third thing you'll understand, the permanent situation of the living entity, which is the soul. So when the soul gives up the changeable gross and subtle material bodies, he receives that constitutional position, which is nothing but What? Jiva Swarupena Nitya Krishna Das. That is the Swarupa of a Jiva. What is the Swarupa of a Jiva? Jiva
Nitya Krishna
Swarupena
Das.
Nitya Krishna Das. So if you serve Krishna, you are in the right state of your position. You're in your right constitutional position. That is your Swarupa. Now, to explain this, understand this. We are part and parcel of the Lord. What do you mean by part and parcel of the Lord? That we are one part, tiny part of His transcendental body, which is Satchidananda. We are one single dot of that, very minute particle of that. Okay? So his form is huge, and we are one part of that form. And a parcel means that we are away from him because we wanted to have bhoga. We were in yoga, but we wanted to have bhoga. So we are away from our constitutional position. He wants us back more than us, like our parents. If you experience this, that we are away from our parents who are back in India, or someone of you might be having your parents back in India, they want you back more than you want them, correct? Have you felt that?
Correct.
They need you more than you need them. That is how Krishna is. He wants you more than you want him. So that is why when we Vyavasaya Atmika Buddhir, when we take that planning step in order to include service of Krishna in our day-to-day routine, or weekly to weekly or monthly to monthly routine, he takes 1,000 steps to bring us closer to him. And that actually helps us to go closer, more closer to our goal, which is mukti or liberation. Okay. Okay. There is one more instructional message on the same lines in Srimad Bhagavatam. I'll share with you. I'll stop sharing my screen now to understand this a bit more further. As to what we should actually do in order to start initiating in that path or start moving in that direction. So, this is from Srimad Bhagavatam. Please repeat after me. Kamasya nendriya pritir
Kamasya nendriya
labho jiveta yavata
labho
Labho
jiveta
jivate
yavata
yavata
jivasya tattva jigyasa
jivasya tattva
jivasya
Jivasya
jigyasa
jigyasa
tatyasa
naso yascheha karmabhi.
nato
nato
yaschena
yasya
karmihi.
So
karmabhi.
what is ultimately the soul's purpose? I mean, what's the ultimately soul's activity based on the three circles? What does the soul
To
do?
desire.
To desire. So
Desire.
life's desire. Now this coming to the whole, desire part of what we do should never be directed towards sense gratification. It should not be directed towards sense gratification. वो enjoyment, bodily enjoyment ना, उसकी तरफ direction नहीं लेना चाहिए हमें. वो होता है. It's very difficult not to do that. Very easy to do that. But the instruction is that do not direct your desire towards sense gratification. One should desire only a healthy life, which is correct, right? Health is more important than anything, isn't it? A healthy life or self-preservation, since a human being is meant for inquiry about the absolute truth. Unfortunately, animals can't do that. Brahma Jigyasa, the curiosity to understand the absolute truth. Nothing else should be the goal of one's worth. So, what we have to actually do when we say surrender, 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 बोलते हैं, क्या करना है? Yeah. What should be the ultimate thing when you are receiving some, profit or revenue out from your work? That fruit or that result should be utilized in inquiring about the absolute truth, knowing about the absolute truth. If that is your goal, you are resolute in the purpose. Okay. So, what things should be practically done? We will discuss that now. अभी ये तो philosophical हो गया ना, थोड़ा अभी ये क्या एक्चुअली पता नहीं है ना, करेक्ट? प्रैक्टिकली क्या करना है पता नहीं है ना, करेक्ट? It's not describing anything practical. We have understood something, but nothing is described as practically what we have to implement. Okay, so we will see what are the different divisions of surrender. What are the different things you can do in order to surrender? So we will touch another scripture here, which is called the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Okay. Madhya Leela. So when we refer to the scriptures, they give us exactly what is to be implemented. First, they give us the understanding, and they also give us the implementation steps. So I'll share my screen with you. Okay. You able to see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Please repeat after me. Anukulyasya sankalpah
Anukulyasya
Anukulyasya
sankalpa
Atikulasya varjanam
pratikulyasya
varjanam
Rakshishyati vishvaso
rakshishyati visvaso
so
Gopatratve varanam tatha
gopatartave varanam
Gopatave varanam
tatha
tataha
Atma nikshepa karpanye
atma nikshepa
Atmanikshepa
karpanye
karpanye
Sadvidha sharanagati.
tadvida saranagati.
Saranagati.
So the 6 divisions of surrender are: 1, the acceptance of those things favorable to devotional service. Number 1. Yeah, someone offers you something to drink or eat. You can accept it. But if you are surrendered to Krishna, you will think that will this help me in my devotional service? Yes or no? Yes, take it. No, nahi chahiye. Discrimination. That's how you discriminate. That's what it says. The rejection of unfavorable things. Okay. Second. Third, the conviction that Krishna will give protection. You should be convinced. तुम्हारा बॉस तुमको पैसा नहीं देता है, जनरल मैनेजर पैसा नहीं देता है, कंपनी का सीईओ पैसा नहीं देता है, ये गवर्नमेंट पैसा नहीं देती है. Nobody gives you anything except Krishna. He provides you all the resources. The example is animals. Animals don't go to work, but they still get to eat. Yeah. So who gives you food? Krishna.
Krishna.
To be convinced that Krishna gives us everything, not anyone else. The acceptance of the Lord as one's guardian or master. He is our actual Father. That's why full self-surrender. And the last, humility. Yeah. What is humility?
Being humble.
How?
By forsaking ego.
Rishi, you want to add something?
I think we had discussed on this ego and humility at one point, where we said if somebody gives you any praise, that it should bother you. You should not be able to take that or enjoy that. And also similarly, you will also develop a habit of being able to tolerate if somebody criticizes you.
Very nice thought. Yeah. Anyone else want to add something?
Prabhu, treating oneself as a blade of grass, like the lowest form, and serving everyone as part and parcel of Lord.
Is that practical?
Up to some extent. You cannot treat everyone, but up to some extent you can serve everyone. But then yes,
Can you do that in office?
Prabhu, humility goes up to a certain boundary. Reciprocation, Prabhu. If you get reciprocation, fine. If you don't, then yes, the strategy changes.
Very difficult, right? To be
Very
humble
difficult.
at work, isn't it?
Very true.
Kalpesh, want to answer? Add something?
Prabhuji, I have one side of it, right? I have a second side as well. We discussed in a previous class. I'll give you as it is example, okay? So I can't paste the words properly, so I'll try to say as it. In my second contract, PM has no clue what's happening, zero clue. So me and my colleague is an architect, and we had a massive argument on something. He's telling me, "Oh, Kalpesh, you're pointing finger at me." Then I told him, "Look, the things that I drafted other days for a meeting to take a hit because of a PM, and I didn't even tell you that I'm taking hit because of someone else, because I wanted to really, a clear way to just finish this and get the ball over the line." So it's humility, or we can use any fancy word to describe this. But yeah, that's one side of it, because no one was attacking me at that time, but I did attack. I got an attack. First, I explained to that person nicely. The other example that we were discussing before Kirtan other day, I gave that person for quite a few months, 3-4 months. When it came to a personal things, personal attacks, I had to give him back. As simple as that, to protect my dignity.
So what is humility?
Man, आपका इंग्लिश ना बहुत खतरनाक है, मेरे को इतना नहीं आता समझाने को. Okay, I'll try.
Okay, so I'll just conclude with what you said just now. Whatever we do, you accomplish. When we defend ourselves, or we are able to retaliate on what has happened with us, we are able to do that, and we are successful. You know that feeling of pride Someone wants to say something.
Sorry, there is a Prabhuji here. He's been hiding here. And so
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Sri Radhe.
He's hiding, but he's promised he'll join class from next week.
Okay. So when you handle such situations and you're able to succeed, okay, in your endeavor, you're able to succeed, you're successful in your endeavor. That feeling, I did that. दिखा दिया मैंने इसको. That is called pride. Okay. And the feeling, thank you, Krishna, you saved me again. I couldn't. Thank you. You helped me in this again. Without me asking you, you understood me from inside. So this humility. सिर्फ बोल के नहीं आएगी, अगर अपने आप आ रही है ना, मतलब हम्बल हो रहे हो अंदर से. फोर्स नहीं करना है अपने आप को ये करने के लिए, नेचुरली होगा. जब हम सेवा करेंगे ना भगवान की, तो ये नेचुरली होगा. That is why the conviction that Krishna will give protection, that conviction will bring humility. नहीं तो क्या होगा, वो प्राइड आएगा ना कि मैंने देख लिया इसको. अगली बार अगर हम लोग सक्सेसफुल नहीं होंगे ना, तो ग्लानी भी होगी बहुत, इरिटेशन भी बहुत होगा. Humility will save you from that. Not 100 out of 100 तो शायद सक्सेसफुल नहीं होंगे हर किसी एंडेवर में. हम लोग कभी फेलियर्स भी आएंगे, उसमें भी यही करना है. Maybe Krishna, you want to teach me something, and it does happen. Sometimes you get failures if you are surrendered to Krishna, but that is an opportunity to learn. Gives you a lot of experience. So there was a person, very successful businessman. Someone told him, "Sir, what is the secret of your success?" Yeah. He said, one word. I said, what? Good decisions. Very nice, sir. Very nice. Actually, 2 words. Sorry, my bad. 2 words. Good decision. I said, okay, but how did you get? How could you take good decision? He said, 1 word. What is the 1 word? Magical 1 word. By experience. Yeah. She said, but yes, how did you get that experience? I said, 2 words. So what are those 2 words? Bad decisions. So we will make bad decisions. We will fall into trouble. Yes. But again, this humility will help us to surrender to Krishna, to revisit and understand. And that is the reason we get failure, so that we are humble. Even Bible says that pride comes before fall. So if you are proud from inside, remember that failure is just around the corner. Yeah. I will finish with one small pastime of Lord Sri Ram. Okay. So when Lord Sri Ram was going to Lanka, planning to go to Lanka, actually started his journey. He was planning to go to Lanka. He was sitting at the seashore, and all the Vanar Sena was with him. Yeah, Hanumanji had already gone and informed Sita that Ram is coming to save you. Now everything was ready. He wanted to go. So he started requesting the sea Samudra, that please give me some way so that I can go and save my wife. So he sat there and did stuti of the Samudra 3 days. 3 days he sat there and he was constantly praying to Samudra that give me some way so that I can go. He didn't respond. So Ram got angry. Generally, he was very patient, but it was a matter of saving his wife. He was very angry that Samudra was not responding to him. So he took out his bow and arrow, picked up an arrow, started reciting the mantra to dry up the whole Samudra in one shot, so that they can easily go and save Sita. He picked up the barn and he pointed at Samudra. Tulsidas ji explains very nicely this whole prasanga. But what happened at that time when he pointed that arrow, that moment Samudra came out. And he said, I'm sorry, my lord. I cannot give you the way, but I will give you a way to cross this Samudra. Everyone just throw a stone with your name written on, your Sri Ram's name written on it, and that will float. And chant your name and throw the stone, it will float also. So Tulsidas explains this very nicely in his commentary of Ramayana, Ramcharitmanas. So it is in Awadhi Bhasha. You know Awadhi Bhasha? Very sweet. If you go to in near Ayodhya, you'll
Ayodhya.
find those people. The chaupai of Ramayana is very sweet. They sing it very nicely. So Tulsidas explains, Vinay na mane jaladi jal. Vinay means request. Okay? Vinay. Vinay na mane jaladi jal. That is when Sri Ramji was requesting Samudra to give way. वो नहीं माने. 3 गए दिन बीत. विनय न माने जलदि जल. 3 गए दिन बीत. बोले राम सकोप से. Sakop means anger. He pulled out his arrow and he came out. And he said, बोले राम सकोप से भय बिन होत न प्री. So without fear, we will not love also. So that is why we get these kind of hurdles in our life. So Krishna makes sure that we get that fear. He brings us back to surrender to him. ताकि हम उसके प्रेम में फंसे. So if you are surrendered to Krishna, you will have this sweet relationship. Yes, Kalpesh.
So, Prabhuji, does that mean that anger is also necessary?
Anger is also necessary.
Yeah.
For what?
Is like one of your quality?
If you think anger is a quality, then there is a problem. But if you use anger, if you use anger to handle a situation which is ultimately required to be handled by anger, that's a different thing. Does it make sense?
Got it.
But if you think that anger is my quality, then you have a problem.
Perfect. Thank you.
Ravan had that problem. Ravan thought that anger and lust is his quality. That was his problem. Yeah, Rishi, sorry.
So Prabhuji, 2.40, when we are talking about most dangerous type of fear, what is that?
Yes. So that is, I'll go to the verse back. Just go to the previous verse. You see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah.
Nehabhi kramanashosti pratyavayo na vidyate. In this endeavor, there is no loss or diminution, and a little advancement on this path can protect one from the most dangerous. What is that endeavor? Is the previous verse.
Yes. Nishkam.
Endeavor. Esha te vishasanki. Yoga to mamshanu. So it is not Nishkam Karma Yoga, it is Buddhi Yoga.
Okay.
Nishkama Karma Yoga is 2.38. 2.39, he starts directing into.
Okay.
Thus far, I've described knowledge to you, and now listen as I explain in terms working without fruitful results. When you act in such a way, can free yourself from the bondage. So it is Nishkam Karma Yoga, yes, but he starts talking about Buddhi Yoga. So Buddhi Yoga is the endeavor we have to take. So if we use Buddhi for our Nishkama Karma Yoga, which is like Vyavasaya ka Atmika Buddhi, the way we do our spiritual practice, that is the actual implementation. Here he says, gives a prelude that if you do that, he's giving the prelude. He's not in 2.40, he has not told what it is. 2.41 he says. 2.40 is giving a prelude that if you do what I'm going to tell you, you will be escaping a very dangerous type of fear. And that fear is to, before act, you have that fear.
Okay. Which we discussed last time, the fear of failure or the fear of rejection and those things.
Correct.
Okay.
The biggest fear in today's times, is one fear of rejection, and the other, which we all constantly have, is the fear of change. Change is the biggest fear.
Prabhu, does it include fear of death as well in this one?
Fear of death. Yeah. Could be an aspect.
Because Prabhu, I think the dangerous fear is to die and take a rebirth in an animal. I mean, it's difficult to then, and they say that if you do this, you will be born at least as a human, in a Brahman family, so you can pursue. So I was just relating it to that. Just checking, Prabhu.
I have another follow-up question.
Yes, Rishi.
If we do Buddhi Yoga with the knowledge that even if we don't do 100%, at least we will be born in a Brahmin family or a aristocratic family where we will get another chance in human form. If you have that, is that not also desire in a way?
That is like your goal.
It is goal, but you are doing because again you're doing it because you want some result.
Correct.
So
You're
then
right.
it is not Nishkam, then it is not Buddhi Yoga, no?
But Prabhu, that
Because you want
desire
result.
is for Supreme Lord again. Like why you want to be born as a Brahman is to serve Lord, to
But
purify, to get to,
I
so
get
that
it.
desire is again for Supreme Lord.
No, the desire is for you to get liberated yourself. You're desiring for
Yes, Prabhu,
yourself.
but for us, for the pleasure of Supreme Lord, right?
What is the
To-
meaning of
Well,
the pleasure for
I
Supreme Lord?
see where Rishi is coming from.
Mm.
I understand your point, Rishi. Yeah. So liberation is also a desire.
Hmm.
Yeah. Liberation. Mukti mujhe pani hai.
Hmm.
That is also a desire. Yes, you are right. You're right. That is also a desire. But that should be our only desire.
Mm.
Is that your
But
only desire? Now, what is liberation is up to you, how you define it. Now, if you define liberation as freeing yourself from the misery of this body, that can be different liberation. So liberation we discussed, liberation is what? That when we want to go back into our original constitutional position, which is to serve the Lord. Jiva Sarupena Nitya Krishna Das. So that doesn't mean that we have to leave this body. That's what Srila Prabhupada says. So that is not that we have to leave this body in order to receive liberation. That's another twist. Yeah. You can actually get liberated now. He said that. The moment you think that, yes, I only have to serve Krishna, nothing else, If you are convinced with that, you have the conviction, and you are completely surrendered to Krishna within, then you are liberated.
Prabhu, just wanted to know. So
But only for that
Jiva,
time till you
yeah.
stop thinking that. That's
Prabhu, so
very difficult. Yeah.
Prabhu, just I have some clarification. You said like that circle thing, Jiva is the one that desires, right?
Mm.
And if we are desiring to get liberated, as you said, so if we are desiring to get liberated means free of miseries, that is something personal.
No.
But if
Liberation is not freeing of misery.
no,
That's a
that's what
wrong
I'm saying,
definition.
Prabhu. If we desire for miseries, like that we go free from miseries, that is personal. But if we say we want to get free to serve Lord Krishna, then that is
Freeing of miseries is not liberation. So
yes,
you have to
Prabhu, that's
deal.
what I'm saying.
You have to
Like,
accept the miseries.
yeah, so the only goal is to be liberated, means to serve Lord Krishna, to become Nitya Krishna Das, like to become the servant of Krishna
That
and
is
to serve
liberation.
him. So that
That
is
is
the
liberation.
desire, that should be our goal. Because anyways, Jiva has to desire. So we desire
So
to
that
purify ourselves and serve
that
Lord.
actually is the Swarupa. You don't have to desire that.
Exactly,
So
Prabhu, like Srimad
so
Bhagavatam
so
that you read is liberation
yeah,
is this.
yeah.
So that says
So
that.
yeah. So to
Yeah.
extend on what we were speaking, Rishi, as well, what we were talking about is that are we supposed to desire liberation? So the liberation is Swarupa of the soul. So that is its own constitution position. So you don't desire to get liberated. What you do is you just practice in order to
Mama,
be the service
Mama,
of the Lord.
mute
So
nahi hai.
Hare Krishna. Sorry.
Sorry, Prabhu.
So we can be serving Krishna. So the desire should be serving Krishna, not getting liberated. Does it make sense?
Yes,
Yeah.
Prabhu. And I think, Prabhu, in Srimad Bhagavatam 1.210, you said, like in that it says exactly that only, Prabhu. That living entities, Swarupa is to, Prabhu, I think 2.10.6 when you mentioned, Prabhu. I think it was in that, Prabhu.
So to clarify, desire should be to serve Krishna, and Swarupa is liberation. So we go back into our original position, which
So
is
our
serving.
original position is to serve Krishna only. Like we have to
Correct.
serve only Krishna.
Correct.
So in
Correct.
any way we have body and we don't have body, and if we are serving Krishna, that doesn't make sense of liberation. I mean, where the liberation comes in between? Like, we are serving Krishna, and that is our ultimate goal, and that is if we are doing every time in our mind. So
24/7, are we
I mean,
serving Krishna?
I'm not saying we are doing. We have to make practice for that.
No. What I'm
But
saying
then
is, are we 24/7 serving Krishna?
we're not.
No. So whatever time we are not liberated.
At that time. Okay. It means just when we are serving Krishna, that
Correct.
means
Exactly.
liberate. And if we
Exactly.
are not, okay, got your point.
Yeah.
Probably,
Yes.
we have
Yes.
follow up time for one more question, quick one.
Yes.
So, if we are serving Krishna, serving is an action. Action requires material body. Once you are liberated, how do you serve Krishna?
Yeah. Very nice question. So if you say serving Krishna, it is not just, say for example, offering bhoga to Krishna as a service. You are doing archanam, you are doing a part of that whole work. So you took a plate and your hands are utilized. But your hand are utilized and the plate is utilized, the food is utilized in serving Krishna, correct? But now, say you are offering Raj Bhog and Rasgulla, very deliciously made, freshly made from the best of the Bengali Brahmana. You have never had that before in your life. तो तुमको भोग लगाने के लिए दिया. अभी तुम्हारे हाथ में वो है मटका और उसमें फ्रेशली मेड रसगुल्ला, उसकी खुशबू आ रही. मुंह में अब पानी आएगा?
Yes.
आएगा ही आएगा। हाँ, तो वो कृष्ण के पास कहाँ गए? वो तो तुम्हारे मुंह में आ गया ना। तो आ गए ना मटेरियल वर्ल्ड में वही टाइम पे।
Yeah.
So Krishna will explain this, Rishi. So this is a very good point. Krishna is coming to that. Slowly, when we go to the end of this chapter, ना, वो एक बात करेगा जिसका नाम है स्थित प्रज्ञ।
Mm.
वो एक ऐसी स्टेट है जिसमें मुंह में पानी नहीं आया। हमको वो स्टेट में आना है। And he will explain how to be in that state.
Which is also similar to Sama Sukha Dukkha, well, the 2.39 that
Yes,
we.
yes.
Yes.
It is that, but this is a bit more advanced in terms of practically applying things. ये जैसे we went to the micro level ना, तो macro level पे surrender, macro level पे liberation, लेकिन actually practically जब कर रहे हैं तब पता खुद को पता उड़ जाएगा, अरे यार मेरे खुद के मुंह में पानी आ रहा है, लाट टपक रही है, मेरे भगवान को क्या भोग लगा रहा हूँ, खुद को लग गया भोग ये तो। और imagine if that is an एकादशी, तुमने खाया नहीं एक दिन से, तो imagine क्या होगा।
Prabhuji, is there any state where it doesn't happen? Like, I don't know.
That is what we have to try, Mataji. That is what we have to try.
Like, I just want to know, is there any state, like, of course, the, elevated,
So
sun.
there was when Srila Prabhupada went to United States, when he was traveling in a taxi, he was going to the temple, just visiting something, some places. The taxi driver was taking him, and he saw his, saffron clothes. The taxi driver asked him, "Swamiji, so you are a Swami, eh?" He said, "Yes." He said that, "Can you sit on a bed full of nails? Can you do that?" He said, "No." He said, "Can you lift yourself in the air while sitting? Can you do that?" He said, "No." Then what kind of yogi and Swami are you? Oh, Gora. Because that was what was going on at those times, Many yogis were visiting United States. Srila Prabhupada said something is just, like a sharp bullet, a sharp arrow or a speedy bullet. He answered. He said, "I can sit in a room filled with most beautiful naked women without being affected." So the taxi driver said, "Ooh, that is difficult." ये वही बात है, रसगुल्ला फ्रेश एकादशी के दिन और मुंह में पानी नहीं आना. Having hold of your senses is something what Srila Prabhupada had. So with that example, so confidently, and he proved it by the reciprocation of Krishna to him. So that shows that he definitely was a Sthita Prajna. That's why we just surrender to him, right? Does it answer your question, Mataji?
Sorry, are you asking me something?
Yes. Did I answer your question?
Yes, Prabhuji. It means that that state is there. Okay.
Yes. So we have to try. So what we do, we cannot become Srila Prabhupada. We have to walk in his footsteps. Try to walk whatever he did in his footsteps. Try to understand what he did. At least read his books to start with.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll end our session here. We'll catch up next.
Krishna.
Okay, just to quickly tell you, we might have a kirtan next week.
कुछ
on
might
9th. Yeah, on 9th of September.
might मतलब अभी confirm कर दो ना.
हाँ, मैंने bookings डाली हैं, so I have yet to wait for the bookings. But 99% yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for the booking. That's all.
Okay.
Otherwise, everything else is okay.
So
The
September.
7th is Janmashtami. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes,
8th,
Prabhu, 7th
Prabhupada
is
appearance
Janmashtami.
day.
8th of
I think
September.
we'll be busy on the temple. And 9th is a very good auspicious day because it falls just after Srila Prabhupada's day. So this is a very good time to have kirtan and chant about the Lord. That is the reason I was thinking we must have a kirtan on 9th. It's a very fantastic week. You know,
Sure,
Balram
Prabhu.
Puja bhi here, so be here. Yeah. Okay.
So Prabhuji, the September month Kirtan will be on 9 September and the next
Nine-
Kirtan in October.
9 September. 9 September will be our kirtan, but we don't know whether we can have another kirtan depending. But this is a very auspicious day. That's the reason I thought we will have it. It's just around that, yeah.
So the next Kirtan will be in October. So then October probably I will try to come and join you in September.
Okay. October we might have Damodar Ashtakam also at that time. Maybe it starts at that time. So we might have Damodar Puja also. Yeah, Kartik month might start. I don't know the exact date, but it might be there.
It will start end of October, not in earlier.
Okay. 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 So
Then-
maybe we will have the end of October then, so that we can have Damodar Ashtakam also.
Okay.
Just around Diwali. Yeah, so we will have at that time. So that one we can have a big one. We can have a massive one.
Probably that I will
Okay.
join.
Okay, no problem. You can join 9th also if you're available. But 9th is
But I
coming
have
up as very auspicious.
somewhere else for 9th.
That's
So
okay. That's okay. That's okay. But 9th is coming up a very auspicious day. That's the reason I had this thing in my mind.
but there's
7th, 8th
also
is very.
Sundarkand part I'm going, so that is.
No, that's okay. That's okay, Mataji. That's all right. Not a problem. Not a problem. But this week is very auspicious. That's the reason I wanted to. Yeah. Is it okay? Others? Kalpesh?
Yes,
Mataji?
Prabhu.
Aradhya Mataji?
Yes, Prabhu, I'll be there.
Rishi Prabhu? Vishakha?
Yes,
Absolutely,
yes.
Prabhuji.
Okay, perfect. So Kalpesh, Prabhu, you will coordinate further. And please
कंफर्म कर
help
दो, मैं
Kalpesh
स्टार्ट
Prabhu.
कर दूंगा काम.
And please help Kalpesh Prabhu with, as usual, you all do wonderful seva with the prasadam. I think he does excellent seva in organizing everything as well. So thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you,
Hare
Prabhu.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna to everyone.
Hari Bol. Hari Bol.